Hello and welcome back to our Team Sanchez channel. Tonight we're going to talk about commitment and what it kind of looks like in our household and what it looks like in our relationship, and a little couple things that we've learned along the way. Um, I'm Humberto Sanchez.
I'm Zamara Sanchez.
GianCarlo in the back playing games.
There he is.
And yeah, so let's get started a little bit. Basically what comes up when we talk about commitment is being a part of something, being involved in something in a group, in this case a relationship. Like we talked last time was with when we had some of our biggest struggles and we got to really see that it was us together and that we formed an alliance. It was a team and it was a team effort. That's when being committed truly came up for me, and that's when I learned it the most, was being committed to her, to our relationship, to our marriage, to our household, to our family, and having a clear intention and a clear commitment is key. We were talking about it earlier today. It came up on something else that we were talking about, and how being committed and having that clear commitment in your mind just makes everything else so easy. Like, it makes paying the price, it makes doing the work, it makes showing up, putting the face, putting the smile, doing the little gestures. It makes everything so much easier because at the end of the day where you're headed, and that's what commitment is.
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing too, it's like something that I see often is I'm committed until, or I'm committed only if things work a certain way. And we've moved away from just the commitment. Like, I want to think like back in the day, like when our parents got married and stuff like that, or when our grandparents got married, like they knew when they got married, that's it.
It was 80 years.
It was a commitment until death do us part. And when people started a new job or something like that, like in the past people would work at a place forever, and not that you want to do that now, but the thing is, like, now,
or maybe you do,
or maybe you do, yeah, but it's like commitments now last this long, and it's until it gets hard, then we'll look and see if the grass is greener somewhere else. Where a lot of the times, and something that we got helped on with a lot, was the problem wasn't external. Like, at least when we were having our issues, like the problem was me and the problem was him and his sense and what I was doing wrong. And when I kept telling our life coach Ara, like, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore, she was like, wherever you go, you're going to encounter these issues. So it's very important to understand, like, the commitment, and when you're going to break it. Is it because it's something that you're doing, or it's something external that you're blaming it on? Because if it's something external that you're blaming it on, wherever you go, you're going to repeat the same cycle and start that same problem again. So is it an issue of commitment on your end, or is it an issue on, like, whatever the other side is supposed to look like? But always think and see, like, where can I be better to make this thing that I'm working on, like, work the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, kind of like another thing is, like she was saying, the commitments, like, they're so short now. People want to give up so easily, and where is all that? Like in songs and movies, you got the Bonnie and Clyde, you got the ride or dies, and this and that, and everybody, Romeo and Juliet, and then you kind of look at them, and in a way, like, it's a little extreme, it's a little crazy, but that's kind of what it needs to look like, and that's kind of how it has to look like with everything, like with your job. Like, even if you're not going to be at this job for the rest of your life, you still get to go all in and be fully committed and doing it at the best that you can every day until the day that you're going to set aside and do something else. Same thing with relationships. You go all in and you make sure that you're always giving your all, because the day that you do walk away, you don't want to walk away and wonder, what if I give it more? You're not even going to be able to walk away comfortably. It's not going to work out.
And I think the whole commitment also takes us over to, like, going all in, and that's something that I always struggled with. And, like, when you say you're going to do something, like, do it. Don't half-ass it, because then it just comes and bites you later. And it's something that I can look back and tell you, like, for the past, gosh, I want to say 10 years of my life, I've been, like, half-assing stuff, because I know that I'm good at doing things, so then I just half-ass it, because my half-ass work is a little bit better than average, but it's still crap. And it was one of those things that I struggled with a ton, where I was like, well, I'm doing what I can, but really I knew I could do better. And not only is like the result of what you're working on half-assed, like it's still okay, it's passable. The problem is what that does to you internally, because when you're half-assing stuff, part of you feels like you're not good enough, not because whatever product you're producing, but because you know you had like more to give. So that's really where the big issue comes in. Like when you're not committed and going all in and finishing something or giving it all you've got, it messes with you internally, where you start thinking like, I'm not good enough. And it then goes into every other area of your life. Like if you think you're not good enough for work because you're half-assing work, then you're going to start half-assing your relationship. You're going to start half-assing your diets, your weight loss journey, going to the gym, your workouts. Everything starts getting half-assed. And all of a sudden, even though you're putting in all this work, you're not seeing results. And it's because you're not going all in. So aside from like the commitment and all that, it's like, how committed are you to you? And that's really what makes a big difference. Like, be committed to yourself. Like when you say you're going to do something, do it. Like, don't just let the words be words. Like, we hold everybody else accountable. If somebody says they're going to do something, like, they better not forget. But then when we say we're going to do something, we let ourselves down all the time. Like, it's the easiest person that we let down. And it's like, why don't we hold ourselves accountable like we hold everybody else? And I think that's the biggest thing that for me has made a difference. It's like once I realized that my commitment was to me, if I said I was going to do something, like actually believing, like, you know, we all have that friend that when they say I'm going to be there at 5, they're there at 5. So, you know, you can always rely on them. Like, why not let that be you for you? Like, if you say you're going to do something, like, sit down and do it, or go and work out, like, do that diet, whatever you're trying to do, like, just do it. Like, once it's like a habit, it's a muscle. Like, once you start working it, you're like, it's like, what's that word I'm looking for? Like, your willpower. It's a muscle that you work. So maybe it's a little bit hard, but you go and do it anyway. And after a while, that willpower is just like, hey, I'm going to get it done. Like, we all know that person that just says they're going to do something and they do it. And you're like, how? It's that willpower. Like, it just happens. Yeah, and that's something that you have.
It's on automatic. Thank you.
So it's like, for me, it's something that's taken me at least 7 years of work to like develop. Like the years before that, I didn't even know, you know, that I had to work on it. So it's just, it's a lot of work that has taken me to develop this willpower, where now I'm like, I'm getting there to when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to get up at a certain time, like everything gets done. And it's really cool to see, like, it almost comes naturally now, but it's like, fuck, it was 7 years of work. So I think it's super important to know that too, like being committed, but being committed to yourself. Like, I don't think there's anything better than that. Like, yeah, you can be committed to other people. When they leave, then what? But what about you being committed to you? Like, I think that's super important.
Yeah, and it goes kind of like, often I hear people saying, like, you know, can you be in a room alone with yourself and your thoughts, and, you know, no phone, no TV, no social media, and can you really, like, how much have you let yourself down that maybe you can't stand yourself, you can't believe in yourself, you hate yourself, you're depressed, and that's one of the biggest things. It's, you know, when you can sit there in your own thoughts and be okay, because you know you've taken care of yourself. You know you love yourself. You've forgiven yourself for the things that maybe you aren't happy about, but it's okay. Because I was listening to Jim Rohn today, and he was talking about don't let your past be your burden, but let your past be your teacher. Let it teach you the lessons, you know, the experiences, everything that you needed to learn, like, learn from it. It's okay. Forgive yourself, move on, and keep going forward. It's just, you know, you got to be able to stop lying to yourself. That's the biggest one. When you can stop lying to yourself, be truthful to yourself, then you can show up for your significant other, and you can show up for your kids, you can show up for everybody in the world, and it's okay. And then everything's going to be an automatic, because you are taking care of yourself, you're truthful with yourself.
Yeah, and it's super important. I don't know, I kind of see it like, it's weird, like the way I see how commitment works and stuff, but in my head, it's almost like a wreath that you light on fire. And I feel like if you light it on fire on one end, it'll like touch your relationships, it'll touch everything, and it'll come around for full circle. Like, you have, like, you know, your whole life is on fire in a good way.
Don't burn your relationships, guys.
Yeah, but it's like the moment like you turn off like a piece, it almost kind of like turns off the rest of it. So it's like when something's missing, like it just doesn't continue the flow. And it's like that ignition, like that starting point is you. Like, how happy are you with you? And the thing is, like, nobody can change that, because at that point it's you with you. Like, no external factors, no people like messing with you, backstabbers, bad boyfriends, bad girlfriends. Like, we tend to like blame everybody else, but at the end of the day, it's like we chose them, and it's like we chose to do the things we did. That's fine, but what have you done to forgive yourself? Like, how happy are you with you? And that will really make a difference of how you show up with everything. Like yeah, like you said, relationships, like your kids, but not only that, like with work, like with your businesses, like whatever you want to do. Like, there's a huge burden that we put on ourselves when we don't love ourselves. It's not just the love, but it's like the trust, the confidence, like how much do you believe in you? And that's what really starts holding you back. But if you start building that little trust, and Jim Rohn again, like, how do you build the what is it, like the self confidence? And he says, by doing the little things. Do the little things that you said you were going to do. If today I say I'm going to wake up at 7, wake up at 7. And the fact that I did something that I said I was going to do, those are the little disciplines that start developing that willpower. And it's all in the little things. It's not just like one big thing that you're going to do. It's a bunch of little things that will make that willpower way stronger and make a huge difference.
The daily, just like working out daily, eating good daily.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you choose to do the work, and you're always doing work. You're always doing the work, whether it's, you know, pointing you towards something good, mm-hmm. or in a worse position than you are now, but you're always doing work. You're always making decisions. You're always making choices every single day. The people you talk to, the people you don't talk to, who you reach out to, who you don't. It's always a choice. It's always a decision, and that is all work that you're doing towards an end result. But you have to decide and be clear on where your end result is, what your commitment is, so that you know exactly what kind of decisions, who you need to talk to, who you need to be in order to get there.
You know what that reminds me of? Like the Goosebump books that I used to have. And at the bottom it had like, it was like choose your own ending. I don't know if you've ever read those.
Yeah.
It kind of tells you like, oh, do you open the door or do you not? It's kind of like that. Like, do you call the person and apologize or do you not? Like, and then it tells you what page to turn to. Like, if you choose not to do that, like your life will go on, but it'll continue on a different spiral. Like, you choose where you're headed. Whether it's a good choice or a bad choice, you're choosing it, and you are creating that future at the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Be careful what you work for, because at the end of the day, it's always that. It's the intention. What is your intention? What is your commitment? So thank you all for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you. We have a lot more where that came from. Team Rocket.
Not today.
No, it's not going to happen.
Bye.
I'll continue trying. I promise. It's going to happen.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.